Hello and welcome to another video about Cardano. Honestly, I couldn't wait to make this video because the things we've said today, they are playing out. You know, the patterns we've identified and the resistance levels, they work, and the support levels as well. So we are going to have a closer look first, again, at prices, then the Bitcoin chart, then the Cardano chart. Always have a look at the Bitcoin chart because it is basically leading the way in crypto. So the price moves of Bitcoin have an impact on Cardano. Sometimes other cryptos decouple themselves from Bitcoin, but that is not yet the case for most of them. So what we currently see, I mean, this morning Cardano was really outperforming the other cryptos, and it sort of still is, most at least. But the other cryptos are catching up, and that looks quite good. We have nice green portfolios across the board again. And what I want to talk about first is the Bitcoin chart. So again, it plays out what I said this morning, that when we moved in to this, this is by the way the 4-hour chart, when we moved into this rising wedge again, which we've identified like weeks ago on this channel, then this rising wedge, which actually is a bearish pattern. I just need to adjust this slightly, otherwise you probably can't see it. Bearish pattern. This morning I said, guys, it looks like we're going to move in again into this rising wedge, which would then mean that we are into the game again, and that this could lead us now to the 50K possibly on the weekend. And we're on our way now, I think, with 48,700. That's already pretty good. I mean, most recently we already crossed that recent resistance, I believe. So most recently we were up to pretty much this level, but actually not quite that high. So we were already up to 48,000, but today with the 48,700, I believe that is a new local high. And I would need to check that, but I think it is. It looks like that. So we are back into this ascending wedge, which is sort of a good thing because it looked like we were breaking out. If you break out of that and this broadening triangle, both bearish patterns, that would have meant we would have dropped most likely to the 40K, to the 200-day moving average, in my opinion, or at least here to one of the resistance lines. I haven't drawn them here, but yeah, this would have been my main target then, the 40K. But what looks good now, we are back in the game. However, bear in mind, the ascending wedge is still a bearish pattern. Why is that the case? Well, the price gets squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and it just means that because the top line is at a less steep angle than the lower line, it means that the highs get less steep, the price is losing momentum, buyers are losing a little bit of interest. So, however, when we dropped below that, actually buyers were very quick to step in. What I want to mention actually is that this sort of star trader legend, Peter Brandt apparently questions the Bitcoin rally, wants the sentiment too high, and well, how does he? What is his argument? Well, it's sort of this rising wedge, which he now discovered. I mean, we talked about this on this channel weeks ago. However, now he's talking about, this is a bearish pattern, and indeed it is. But if you've been watching this channel, you know that you've been knowing that for a while now. The thing is, it is a bearish pattern, but these patterns don't always play out bearish. And if we are really genuinely in a bull market, then of course it's hard to say, is it really turning out bearish? But because it is generally recognized as a bearish pattern and has actually quite a high chance of probability to move towards the bearish side, so to the downside, we just need to be careful. And I made you aware of that a few times now on this channel, that we are in this bearish move, and it's just something to be aware of. And if we break down, it could really lead to some price drops. And that's just what I want to tell you. It looked like we were starting to move here. We were losing momentum. If you see the mouse that I show you here now, it really looked like we were losing momentum. I mean, now we've gone up again, but it's still something to follow and to be aware of, because these moves have happened before. On the Bitcoin chart, we can see here, and we had a massive price drop after that. That was in April. So it is really important to watch that when these price moves are taking place. What we need to be aware of as well, I mean, look at that. We started to get into this ascending wedge probably on the 20th of July. This is pretty much when the uptrend actually for all other cryptos happened. I'm not aware that any other cryptos at the moment are in an ascending wedge. Obviously, I only follow really Ethereum and Cardano. and not Ethereum, not really that closely. So really Cardano is my main focus, and we're having a look at that chart. Again, playing out as well very nicely at the moment. First of all, before I tidy up this chart, because it looks a bit overloaded, just want to show you again a few things, because some people mentioned that it's quite nice if I always summarize what happened in the previous video, because not everybody has a chance to watch 3 videos a day, right? So we had this, the red line that you can see here is actually the all-time high, the old all-time high, which we've now moved above. I said in today's video, lunchtime video, that this is now, of course, support level. It has been tested various times now. Really good sign, honestly, really good sign. And it seems like as long as we stay above that, then we should be good. And that is 246. We're currently at 249. So this looks really good. What I've actually seen just before this video, and I'm going to take out the Fibonacci levels because they just disturb here. What you can see is this other red line. And I need to make that a bit different so you can more clearly see that. This is, by the way, the hourly chart. What you can see, and I've only just seen that when I switched the laptop on, that red line is moving up, okay, and it's touching the candles. So, I mean, I can do it either way. I can touch the full candle, which is normally what I do. Let me just adjust that, and you can see clearly that some sort of uptrend is forming here. I guess it's, yeah, like that. Probably that might be working out better. Right, so we can clearly see that. A bit steeper, I need to do it. And what that means, not only that it's an uptrend, but it looks to me what we could be getting here, and I'm just going to move that line up. Looks to me like a small ascending wedge. Now, again, bearish pattern similar to Bitcoin, just on the 1 hour chart. So on the 1 hour chart, to be honest, doesn't need to mean that much. It doesn't have that much weight as a longer term pattern on, that has been running for a while. I mean, this only started like yesterday evening, if it actually plays out, because we've only had really a few touches here now. But this ascending wedge could indicate a bearish move potentially, so we want to be aware of that. This is now our support level here, the 247, so really shouldn't drop below that. If we do, obviously, and that pretty much coincides with the 246 all-time high, I just can tell you what I see here, and this means that it is just a slightly bearish pattern. So it could be a false signal, but it actually could indicate that we get a price drop. Not too sure about it though, because I believe we won't just easily drop below the all-time high. I don't want to believe it. What is good though, that we've got all these here, the 20-day moving average very close, the 50-day moving average very close, and the 200 moving day is down here, a bit further away. And yeah, what I want to show you as well, and I just started to introduce that here. I just want to see how that works out with cryptos. Never used it for cryptos before. This is basically this range that you can see here in green, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. That range here, but actually that blue line, which is in the middle, and I can possibly give it another color, maybe purple. So let's give that a purple color, might be easier to spot. So that's the VWAP. The VWAP is the volume weighted average price, and it is different to a moving average, because the moving average only looks at price, only takes an average of the candles, basically the price of the candles when they were closed. And the VWAP, however, takes into account volume as well. So basically looks at how many Cardano coins are being traded for which price, and then basically it takes that information into account, and you get a very nice graph. And it basically indicates, it only works on a daily basis because it gets resetted every day. So it's good for day traders though, and very good to work out, what is happening next, because people tend to buy, a lot of day traders use that. So people tend to buy when it's below the VWAP because they think they get a better price. And above that, eventually, you know, if it gets overextended above the VWAP, the price will come down again because people don't tend to buy anymore. So when you're above the VWAP and it gets overextended like here, so you can see the purple line here, and you get overextended here, then it's natural that the price will come down because people on the day, at least on the day trading side here, will lose interest. They believe that they pay too much for their ADA coins, and then the price drops again and goes up again. And then if the price goes below it, they tend to buy again because they believe they have a good price, and that pushes the price again eventually over it. Now what we had here, that didn't work out at this point because we had also this triangle. So it's always, you need to watch for different indicators together, but eventually it works pretty well. But here actually we had that, we hit that upper support level, upper resistance level of that triangle. So then we dropped, but then we went up again. And here you can see again, a bit overextended, and then it dropped again. So what that actually means, it's good for day traders to use, a good tool to use as a day trader. So when it's at the top here, you could, for example, think about, well, not buying at least. And then some day traders do, when it drops below the VWAP and just drops below it, they short it. And then they buy again when they see a positive signal again. So that's how you can do day trading. But what it means now that we are now above the line, so it indicates actually that we could actually drop below the line, right? Because we're just now at 250, we're just now above the line, just now, and we've actually been above already. Now it could be that we're going to drop, but then again we will move up. It's just, you know, how does that play out on a continuous basis? That's always important to know. But for me, you know, if we're at this support level here, just at the 250 now, we already were again at the 257 here. What could happen is we drop below, we hit that support level here of the ascending wedge, and then we'll move up again, right? So if you watch that video now later, you can check if that was true. So we will probably go down to 249. We've actually been at 249, I think, because we've touched it already. Oh yeah, we've actually touched it. So you can see it here. Currently we are at 250 again. So it might actually, the next candle might then show us possibly going up again to maybe up to the 260. So maybe that's how we climb up, but eventually something needs to happen because it is eventually a bearish pattern. I'm not really sure what I should think about this because this is not really a nice bullish pattern or a bull flag as I would have loved to see it. Let's have a look at the 4-hour chart. So all I can tell you, it doesn't indicate to me clearly that we're gonna see further price increases. And again, there have been some comments because on this channel we've really predicted some things very accurately that have been happening over the last few days and weeks. Yeah, really weeks. I think the trend-wise we've always been right here, but I can also be wrong. Of course I can, and I will. I can tell you that I will be wrong if I can't make things out clearly and then something happens. So yeah, you can clearly see here that we are having an ascending wedge again as well. So I actually expect, based on that we might see a price drop at a certain point in time. Not a massive one, but potentially down to one of these moving averages, which is down here at 216. I know people are waiting for that because it gives them the possibility to buy again. Personally, I would never buy at an all-time high. I told you that. That is just one of my rules. I would love to buy now, but I just don't, because if you have rules in trading and you don't stick with them, that doesn't end very well. But yeah, clearly on the 4-hour here as well, an ascending wedge forming. If this maybe it gets devalidated, and if we break out to the top, fantastic. But at the moment, I think we'll have a short correction to some point. That's what I believe. Yeah, that's what I see here at least. Obviously, midterm, long term, over the next few weeks, I think we go to $3. Absolutely. And on this chart, I can only tell you what I see. Let's take a look on the 4-hour. Maybe we can get some further information here. The yellow one, I changed the colors a bit so it's a bit clearer. The yellow one is the RSI. We're still in overbought territory, which indicates, yes, we're actually overbought. So a small correction could be coming, could be on the way. The MACD still bullish, losing a little bit of momentum, but still bullish. And the check and money flow together with the volume here, the big blue line actually, showing that there is definitely volume. But what you can see on the buyer side, that the volume, these candles here or the bars here are actually dropping. So buyers are slightly starting to lose some interest, which is why we have this ascending wedge forming, even though it's going up. But the top line, we see the highs are getting not as high anymore. So watch this space in the next 4 hours, the next candle that will be happening, or even in the next few hours. If I go back to the hourly chart, I can tell you what you need to watch out for. So again, I need to change that again. We shouldn't, if we drop below, let's say, if we drop below the 248, that won't look good. Or even at the moment, it's the 246. Next hour, it will be like the 248. So if we drop below that, and if we don't get back into the ascending wedge, it might indicate that we get a consolidation. If we stay above it, we might go now in the next move up to the 260, which is what could happen as well, because we've now had a drop here. Looks like, you know, if I look at that, we've actually, that candle now, just where the new candle appears, that candle closed at 246. So the new green candle is now turning up. The new green candle could now really go up to 260. So we've defended that support level, has really acted as support. Really nice to see. So we might now go up to the 260. And then in the next move, again, the decision, you know, will it hold or not? Slightly worrying that it is an ascending wedge. And if something happens, of course, if we break out, I'll update you later today. It's Friday, so we're getting into the weekend, bit more time. Might do a live stream on the weekend. Really want to try it. It might just be a trial, guys. We have a look at the chart live, and then you can ask some questions. We can take a look at the price together. That might be interesting. Never done something like that before. If you're interested in that, let me know. And of course, would be happy if you're joining. Hope you liked that video. If you did, please smash the like button. And if you want to follow me on this crypto journey, please subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.